serious controversy surrounding a lot of things happening in Nigeria in recent times. And there has been conversations since former head of state Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida came out with his book launch and the conversation that he had. There has been Nigerians clamoring that Abiola's family should say something, should do something, but the Abiolas, seem to be playing it cool. But on the flip side, the family of the late head of state, General Sani Abacha, retired, has cautioned former military President General Ibrahim Babangida against tarnishing the image of the former military leader. Now, they have released a statement yesterday. That statement was released by Mohammed Abacha. The family noted that General Babangida had in his recent book, A Journey in Service, alleged that the annulment of the June 12, 1993 presidential election was the responsibility of the late Sani Abacha. Now, the family is saying there was no such thing. Abacha's family said the claims sparked widespread controversy and necessitates a clear response in the interest of historical accuracy and justice. I've taken in a lot of reviews with regards to IBB's recent revelation, and a lot of people are of the opinion that history has been attempted to be written wrongly by this particular book that was written by the former, military president. Now, the statement described the allegation as false. Any attempt to shift this blame onto General Sani Abacha, and I quote, who was a very senior military officer within the regime, is a deliberate distortion of historical fact. For years, various actors have attempted to rewrite the history of that critical period in Nigeria's democratic evolution. Looks like, everybody has a different kind of story. But the family, in a statement, argued that General Abacha was neither the head of state nor commander-in-chief at the time the June 12 election was annulled. He only came in after the annulment. So the decision to annul the election was made under the administration of General Ibrahim Babangida, who as at then was the head of state, held the absolute executive powers and was solely responsible for the actions of his government.
See, the fact that the former leader is not facing any charges for most Nigerians is a gross injustice. The fact that we saw on national TV present leaders clap and cheer to a revelation that should have literally shook the nation by this foundation is a complete, should we call it a vivid picture of how much of institutional decay, how much of how much of a lack we have in terms of a morality. Like the moral decay in the society, the moral decay in our institution, the moral decay that we collectively have. Hello, good morning. Welcome to Rise and Shine.
Hello.
Yes, good morning. What's your name, please?
Yeah. Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to speak on the issue of it looks like that our team, everybody, even outside that we are following how this is. And the very first, what I'm saying is, providing that some, when we know they are from saying that he will not do the right, why is that both? What about people keep solar person now, some these things, then they try to follow it and they send it to someone else? Why you do that? You need that, Nigeria. If you need that, will do something. Find a way, not to get the money. For the issue of special arrangement, we And they are things now, and this thing now happens to a leader, a lawmaker. And they are trying to divert this, which is very bad. Our children, they are taking this step by step. They want to see how this is on her. Right? What is that to appeal? Okay? What kind of steps are this party at home? Because they are playing these things. Things have become a trending issue. They want to see how this is on her. Okay? So I'm totally disappointed. Everything is going to be right. Just to everybody we are following you. I just think that let me do the right. Because you know that and you just want to follow you. And look at what they are doing at that. Women, they are out there, are warming up. They want to see how this thing turn out. So I am not happy. Just say that to the right thing.
Thank you so much. I know that we struggled through. I know that he expressed his disappointment in how the case has been handled so far. But we are taking messages on WhatsApp, and we would love to just send us voice notes so that we do not, struggle to make out exactly what you're saying. The calls are literally not working. But Vincent sent us a message. Vincent didn't put his location, but Vincent says Natasha put herself in this mess. But the sanction by the ethics committee against her is equally messier and miscalculated to create fear and force her to submission. How can the National Assembly create a vacuum for representation of a constituency which the 1999 Constitution never envisaged? This is from Vincent. Vincent, thank you so much for the WhatsApp contribution this morning. But he has raised a very, very key question here. What she did is a problem. But the committee's verdict is going to make it messier because we are forgetting the fact that this woman is representing Kogi Central. Remember that Kogi Central, the seat has had issues until we landed on, Natasha Akpoti. Yes, the court verdict brought Natasha Akpoti, and she has literally not even settled into the flow of things, and she has been ousted for 6 months. So we need to consider the people that she's representing. And there's a lot of questions around this, but it's a major thing. Now is the National Assembly deliberately raising vacuum for the representation of the people of Kogi Central? That's the question that Vincent is asking this morning.
Well, like I said earlier, at the end of the day, this is where Senator Natasha will tell the people of Kogi State where her interest is. Is the interest of the people more important than her interest? Or her interest more important than that of the people who sent her to represent them in that office? If the interest of the people is paramount, then she's going to do the honorable thing. What is that honorable thing? Toe the line, the path of, the leeways or the avenues that have been given to her to return back to the floor of the House as quickly as possible. Once she has done that and returned back, like you advised, and most Nigerians have said, she needs to use this time to study the rule book. Understand the processes and procedures of the floor of the plenary. Understand what you can do, how you can go about doing it, and when you should do it. And then, of course, she still has, within her powers, the decision to pursue the case of sexual harassment.
She can initiate that
as a case, using the right channel, using the right processes, the right procedures. And Nigerians, men and women of right thinking, will queue behind her to support her. But first, at this point in time, she has made some wrong turns. And those wrong turns has led to what she is today. To revive that, she needs to be back on the floor of the House. She can't fight that battle outside. She needs to fight the battle from the inside. That's the only way to go. Whether or not she succeeds at the end of the day is also going to be dependent on the credibility. Because as you've stated, and it's clearly stated, a lot of people are beginning to question whether or not the sexual allegation actually happened. Because we were going back to conversation. When you were taking selfies with Akpabio as your Senate president, every now and then, you were going to functions. You were, you had just come in and you were given a juicy committee to chair We didn't hear the story of sexual allegation or sexual harassment. All of a sudden, you're taking off from that, and then we're hearing sexual allegation. Why did we not hear? See, there are a lot of intricacies, a lot of twists and turns to this story. But at the end of the day, if Natasha puts the interests of her people and constituency first and foremost, she's going to find a way back into the floor of the National Assembly. Once she's back on the floor of the National Assembly, then she can take the other steps available. There's 2 cases still in court. Those ones are not, we're not even talking about that. The one instituted by Ekayotun Unoma Kwabio, the wife of the Senate president, 250 billion in damages, and then the one she instituted also still standing, 100.3 billion naira in damages. So there are different leeways available to her. But if she has the interest of the people at heart, this is where she will have to submit, surrender, and take the political openings, or should we call it the political graces available to her. Apologize if need be. Get back to represent your people. And then, if you were actually harassed, take on that case with all of the evidence and the facts that you have. And let's get the Senate president going for sexual harassment.
And like you said, a lot of people are in support of finding the truth about this particular case. And this is not even just a case of having Nigerians calling for the resignation of, the Senate president. Just due process.
Nobody would do that. Because if you look at Saraki at some point, even him speaking up, at some point when he had a face-on with some, of his colleagues, at some point he suspended people as well. So there is nobody that would have that moral grounds as far as the political space is concerned to ask for the Senate president's resignation. The only grounds we will have is when the case has been taken up appropriately and it is discovered that, yes, Mr. Senate President, you actually sexually harassed a female lawmaker of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That is when all of us will have the right to call for his resignation.